out in the C-list cold back in Montecito, the self-styled Queen of California was battling an all too familiar problem.
She said she didn't think it was love. We think she engineered it all. That she was Meghan.
When you're the King of England, when you are King Charles, you have to plan your funeral out way ahead of time.
He will crawl back to the United Kingdom, damaged and humiliated, and she will be in California with 2 kids.
I just don't think they're going to be welcomed with open arms back in the UK because Meghan Markle has said she was miserable there. Prince Harry said he couldn't bring his kids back to the UK. It wouldn't be safe for them. And then we see the guy going around like ringing doorbells in broad daylight in random neighborhoods.
But worse are the persistent rumours that she's not a mum and never has been.
Now, where things start to get really interesting. And I know some of you are about to get angry.
Okay, get ready for this bombshell, because what just went down inside Clarence house is nothing short of a royal earthquake. Picture this. Just past midnight, with candles flickering and shadows dancing on the walls, King Charles pulls off what insiders are whispering is the most jaw-dropping family meeting since the infamous Megxit. And it wasn't just any chat, oh no. 2 of the most seasoned solicitors in the kingdom were there, along with one incredibly tight-lipped aide. One source, they called the entire gathering a velvet guillotine. Chilling, right?
When you're the King of England, when you are King Charles, you have to plan your funeral out way ahead of time, right? You can't leave wiggle room for mistakes or disasters. Everything is planned to a T, like it was with Queen Elizabeth II.
According to a jaw-dropping leak, Charles wasn't screaming, he didn't raise his voice, nope. He spoke with this icy calm that apparently sent shivers through the room. What did he want? An ironclad document, a cauteol to be exact, that would effectively lock Prince Harry out of touching even a single pound of a private fortune worth, wait for it, £1 billion sterling, 0 pence. That's with a B, folks. And we're not talking chump change or crown funds. We're talking old money, priceless art, hidden estates in the British countryside, and a mysterious slice of Lancaster revenue most people didn't even know could be cashed in.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, they have not been a part of the royal family in years. They left at the beginning of 2020, 5 years ago. Meghan Markle has crapped on the royal family. She's shanked them. She's accused them of racism. Harry has done tell-all books, sit-downs with Oprah. They've done 6-part docuseries. They continue to use their families for fame and fortune and continue to stab them in the back.
So what happened next? Charles calmly pushes the draft forward, taps it like a king sealing his fate, and says, get this is not vengeance, it's protection. Goosebumps, right? But the kicker, the document is conditional. It only activates if Harry dares to go rogue one more time. One more Oprah-style bombshell and bam. He's out, every single penny rerouted straight to William's kids and a humanitarian trust Charles has been nurturing for decades. Don't worry, ancient heroes, Massacre and Charles will unite, and they will strike again. It's like royal chess, but with millions at stake.
I supported those 2 when they left. I can't then imagine, 12 hours later you land in another country because you don't want press involvement in your life, where you sign a $112 million deal with Spotify and basically spend the rest of your existence only surviving by slagging off the very thing you don't want to be part of.
And then palace staff start whispering. The air in those carpeted corridors turns icy. One footman allegedly said the cauteol felt like a velvet-covered sledgehammer. People close to Charles swear this wasn't spontaneous. The final push came after some soul-shaking revelations from Lady Elizabeth Anson, the late Queen's own cousin. She apparently spilled some very private tea that the Queen, yes, Her Majesty herself, had deep unspoken doubts about Meghan's intentions and whether Harry could still be trusted.
The royal family's position on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has significantly hardened following the shock beyond the grave revelations from the late Queen Elizabeth, exposed to the world by her cousin, Lady Elizabeth Anson.
Suddenly, behind palace doors, panic erupts among the ultra-elite financial strategists the group insiders call the furnace room. Why? Because another Sussex tell-all could reduce royal wealth to legal confetti. But Charles, ever the gardener of legacy, chose a new strategy: contain, don't confront. Still, mid-discussion, he paused, eyes misting over, and asked his legal team, can the clause be reversed if Harry finds his way home? The answer? Technically, yes. But practically, that door is barely cracked. One more hit piece and it slams shut forever.
She can't get away with her behaviour. I think there should be something that you have been so rude to the Queen.
By sunrise, barely anyone knew what exactly had gone down, but you could feel it in the palace air. Something seismic had shifted. The breakfast table chatter, whisper quiet. Aides were exchanging looks that screamed a secret royal weapon had just been forged. And if you thought that midnight meeting was the finale, think again. The real explosion happened the moment William found out how close his family's fortune was to being poof. Gone. Apparently, it started with a routine meeting in the white drawing room. Classic, rainy British night. Clock ticking. Senior aide walks in, drops a discreet manila folder onto Charles's lap. What was inside? Oh, just the full transcript of Lady Elizabeth Anson's heart-dropping interviews.
That actually it deserves some sort of punishment. Prison if possible. I really mean it. I don't mean it as a joke. But when we've heard all the things you said to the Queen and how she's behaved.
So what did Charles read? Devastating stuff. The late Queen calling Meghan secretive, describing Harry as weak and besotted, even confessing that she feared the entire marriage might have been engineered. One courtier swears Charles pressed his thumb hard into the paper's margin and muttered, "So the truth finally walks the corridors." Oof. Insiders say something inside him broke. He'd spent months believing that staying generous might someday lure Harry back. But now, even his mother had seen the writing on the wall, and Charles? He was done playing diplomat. Even worse, whispers of a new Sussex documentary started swirling. Anonymous sit-downs with Hollywood pals. Netflix execs allegedly nicknamed it the sequel. And when Charles heard, his knuckles turned white.
No, not the shocking revelation that her rip-off as ever tea bags are supplied by a company that sells them for a third of the price. That's bad enough.
He's turning their grievance into eternity, Charles reportedly muttered. And that was the final straw. He dismissed the room and ordered, "Get me options," by nightfall. Now behind palace walls, legal chaos erupts. Could Charles really cut Harry out without causing a public outrage? The answer from lawyers? Yes. Why? Because these are private holdings, not public funds. No one can say a word. But for Harry, it's exile. Not by geography, but by money. A senior counselor labeled it financial quarantine, meant to shield the monarchy from what he chillingly called reputational contagion. Still, William was briefed. His reply? Calm, cold. If it protects the institution, do it. But he did ask for one caveat. Make it conditional. Give Harry one last out. And Charles agreed.
Prince Harry is expected to walk side by side with his brother, who will then be king, at the forefront of the procession from Westminster Abbey through the streets of London. Now, the Sussexes, Harry and Meghan, will also be invited to take part in the family vigil during the lying in state period at Westminster Hall.
By the time dust painted Buckingham's walls with golden shadows, the entire blueprint had clicked into place. 2 pages, 1 private addendum, a ticking time bomb disguised as mercy. But before anyone could breathe easy, there was one massive riddle to solve. How exactly does royal money really move? Because, darling, it's not as simple as unlocking a golden vault under the palace and letting the coins spill out. Oh no, that's the fairy tale. The reality? Think locked rooms, hidden keys, secret passageways of wealth. And Charles, he just quietly changed all the locks. First, you've got the Crown Estate. On paper, tens of billions, but guess what? Charles doesn't own it. It's technically the nation's. He just gets an allowance from it, known as the sovereign grant. That's untouchable, so it's not even on the table. Then comes the Duchy of Cornwall, which always belonged to the heir. That ship? Now fully under William's command. Translation? Harry lost that slice the second Charles became king. But here's where it gets spicy. The true pot of gold? The Duchy of Lancaster. A secretive stash of farms, urban properties, and high-value shares that pour cold, hard cash straight into Charles's personal account. Add to that discreet artworks, Scottish estates, and ancestral jewels, and boom, you have a vault fit for a modern-day monarch.
Arrangements have reportedly been made for Archie, 6, and Lilibet, 4, to attend the funeral service with their parents and to take part in a big way.
Now buckle up, because what happened next is pure drama. According to a very well-placed source, the financial team, quiet as ghosts, started color-coding asset ledgers. We're talking secret spreadsheets, people. Any property set aside for future charities, colored green. Anything for William's kids, blue. But you know what disappeared entirely? A column once labeled discretionary descendant funds. That was Harry's theoretical slice. Vanished, gone, like it never existed. Analysts estimate that missing stash could top £1 billion sterling, 0 pence if you count low-key tax shares hidden far, far away from Buckingham pomp. And because Lancaster income is Charles's personal money, he doesn't need Parliament's blessing. He can redirect, rewire, reassign with nothing more than a signature and a whisper. Now you might be wondering, how does this not violate inheritance laws? Here's the genius part. The codicil doesn't technically disinherit Harry. No, it simply reroutes the funds unless certain family members meet specific loyalty criteria. One line. That's all it took. Continued loyalty, like a velvet dagger wrapped in cashmere. So if Harry behaves, plays nice, and keeps quiet, some funds could one day be his. But if he blows up another scandal, that cash sails straight into William's kids' accounts and a climate fund Charles apparently loves more than his organic oat milk.
Just when the difficult Duchess wanted all the talk of her fake baby bumps to fade away, along came a so-called friend to turbocharge the conspiracy theories.
Believe it or not, this isn't the first time royalty locked away treasure from a rogue son. Queen Victoria did the same thing centuries ago. But now, it's happening under the merciless eye of 24/7 media. One finance guy quipped, they built a moat with spreadsheets. And you know what? He's not wrong. Oh, and guess what? Harry's American legal team got a little courtesy call. Just a heads up, nothing concrete. But it was enough to get him pacing the garden, phone pressed to his ear, asking, is this going to affect my children? The reply, cold and cryptic. That depends on your future conduct. And just like that, the attention pivots to the one person who holds the lever. Prince William. Sources say when he heard about the codicil, the temperature inside Adelaide Cottage dropped 10 degrees. Literally. One aide said the silence was so thick it could slice glass. Then came 3 taps on William's desk. That's the signal. Within minutes, his inner circle assembled, right there at the kitchen table, still scattered with Princess Charlotte's glitter glue and finger paints. What followed? A battle plan more meticulous than anything ever seen outside of MI6. Step 1. Protect the monarchy's image at all costs. Step 2. Never ever again be blindsided by a Sussex shock drop. Step 3. Keep his fingerprints off everything. Let the structures, not the man, draw the line.
Now the trolls have gone into overdrive with their firm belief that non-mother Meg was never pregnant, and the childless Sussexes continue to subject the world to an extraordinary hoax.
And oh boy, what came next is now being whispered as the Steel Glove Protocol. It starts with something chilling, a dormant titles bill, long buried in royal archives. Originally drafted under the late Queen, but never triggered, William had it dusted off and reworded, ready to go. If he gives the word, it could strip courtesy titles from any royal who profits off their status while trashing the crown. And here's the kicker, Parliament is standing by. All William has to do is nod. Next, a deadly silence strategy. No rebuttals, no interviews, no leaks. William believes the lack of royal response will make every Sussex complaint echo like a tantrum in a void. But the most ruthless piece? A contingency dossier compiled over 3 relentless weeks. It catalogs every post-Megxit project, every podcast jab, every spare passage flagged for dishonesty. Harry sues for his inheritance. That folder drops like a guillotine in court. William doesn't want revenge, but he's not taking any more surprises. Sources say even Catherine backs the plan, though she begged for one shred of mercy. Leave a door open, just a crack, in case Harry truly wants to come back. William agreed, but insisted no cameras, no ghostwriters, just Harry, in person, with an actual apology. Even the most seasoned palace veterans were stunned. One staffer called it a masterclass in silent warfare. Another was more blunt. He's turning protocol into a weapon. And just as this chessboard was set, real-world choreography began.
Archie and Lilibet, I understand they are in the line of succession. They might be a long ways down. I think it's a little murky if they should be. You know, there's a lot of rumors and conspiracies about the baby. And when we saw that baby bump in the hospital room, it looked a little bit dicey.
Funeral planners were quietly told, prepare for war. We're talking seating charts that deliberately push Harry and Meghan 2 full rows back, invisible to the main broadcast camera angle. That chart locked in a vault, right next to the codicil, codename Operation Many Bridge. But within palace walls, staff whisper it should have been named Operation Minefield. Every detail of Charles's future funeral, yes, even that, is now laced with legal triggers. Mini bridge treatment, legal trigger. Because the moment the monarch's coffin doors close, if there's an unresolved Sussex lawsuit pending, the codicil activates. Just like that, game over. Can you imagine? Mourning a king while simultaneously severing a prince. But wait, there's more. If Harry tries to speak to the press, security has a Plan B motorcade ready. They'll gently steer him away from the main route, exile by choreography. And Meghan, sources say she was incandescent. She found out about the funeral seating chart and exploded, storming the patio, pacing in fury. Her royal brand sidelined during the world's most watched event. That's when the late night Zoom call happened with her legal pit bulls. So after that funeral seating bombshell drops, Meghan goes straight into California war mode. If that trailer drops, lawyers agree, Snowdrop must activate within 24 hours. And there, sitting alone, is King Charles. No speeches, no ghost-written letters, just a simple apology. A father and son, eye to eye, hearts raw, but healing. The codicil, it stays folded. The trust, flexible again. Archie's future education is secure. Lilibet might one day walk a charity tour funded by her grandfather's legacy. Parliament backs down. The sealed letter is opened quietly. Its message, grace, and William, wary but willing. Lets time close the gap between brothers. A fragile peace blooms. But then, timeline 2, Meghan's podcast drops without warning. No subtle PR rollout, no preamble, just a sharp, polished voice. They built financial walls between us and our future. The hashtag Financial Wells trends globally in under 30 minutes. Commentators split. The Crown stays silent, but Parliament erupts. Marcus Doyle walks into session waving a manila folder. Sussex donors, Hollywood executives, venture capitalists, all named, all exposed. The titles bill passes. Harry and Meghan are stripped. The codicil activates. A process server delivers the final letter. The vault slammed. Netflix rolls footage of Harry slumped in a Montecito kitchen reading a legal letter thicker than Spare. He calls London. Voicemail. Across the ocean, William opens his personal safe, takes out the dossier and adds a handwritten cover page. One line, duty fulfilled. Later that night, Charles stands before the chapel window. In his hand, the envelope from his mother. He hesitates. Would sending it now heal the wound? Let's cauterize it forever? So here we are, 2 futures, 1 royal family, 1 trigger point, the next upload, the next lawsuit, the next podcast whisper. Any of it could tilt history. The codicil waits, silent, sealed, merciless. Parliament's draft bill sits ribbon-bound, lacking only a moment and a mandate. And the Queen's final letter, the most personal weapon of all, remains unread. A verdict, a goodbye, a prayer. So tell us, what do you think Harry's next move should be? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because if you thought this was wild, you won't believe what's coming next.